Finals. Kawhi Leonard carried the Raptors to their first ever finals appearance. That was the easy part. Now he's got some work to do as the Raptors look to take down the defending back-to-back champion Warriors. Here we go. Golden State opens as heavy favorites over the Raptors with Game 1 tipping off Thursday in Toronto. Sarah Kustok, how do the Warriors and the Raptors match up in the finals?
This is going to be fun. I'm excited. I'm excited to see both of these teams play. One, because they're coming in with great momentum. I know Golden State hasn't played for a while, and it feels like that series was a month ago. But I think it's going to be interesting because you look at Golden State and how they played through the postseason. They have been absolutely dynamic offensively, with Kevin Durant, without Kevin Durant. They've got I think their offensive rating is over 116. They've been extraordinary, and to me, Toronto's defense has been absolutely off the charts, and that goes to their depth, their strength, versatility, and everything that you need to try and slow down Golden State. I believe Toronto has. One of the reasons that they made it such a challenge for Milwaukee is because their transition defense was so good. Key number one, and how you need to try and stop that Golden State offense, is making sure that you are getting back in transition. They're excellent in half-court offense. There's obviously is a whole different level than Milwaukee. But I think some of those things, the ability to have multiple players that, you know, Toronto is so good because whether they're switching, regardless of what they're playing, they've got good individual defenders. And so oftentimes when teams can break you down, when Golden State can break you down, it's because they force you into situations that you got to help, you got to recover because they can beat you off. Toronto is so deep in their defense, and Golden State as well has got a lot of players that they can throw on Kawhi Leonard. You got to Draymond Green, you got to Iguodala, you got a Klay Thompson, so I believe, too, they're going to give different looks to Toronto that he didn't necessarily see throughout the course of this last series.
This will be far and away the best defense the Warriors have faced in the NBA Finals. The Cavs defense, they've only played the Cavs. The Cavs defense, 3 of those 4 years was a bad defense. The 1 year it snuck into the top 10 for the playoffs at 10th was the year they won the title.
Was the right
It was the year they won the title, the year before Kevin Durant got there. And the team, like the Rockets, had a good defense last year and forced them to 7, but not as good as Toronto's defense. The best defenses against these Warriors teams in these 5 years, OKC when Durant was there, that team obviously was up 3-1 on Golden State, but that was a different Golden State team. So first of all, what the Warriors won't have to their advantage that they've had each of the last 4 years in the finals is an opponent that's not ready for this level of intensity and this level of defensive focus. Except for the first year the Cavs and Warriors played in the finals, the one game Kyrie played in those finals, that every other year the Cavs came to the NBA Finals like they hadn't been playing playoff basketball. Maybe it's because they just coasted through the East, but you'd watch them in Game 1 and, they would just forget switches. They wouldn't get back on defense. They'd whine to the refs instead of getting back, and the Warriors would win Game 1, usually by a very healthy margin every single year, and the Cavs would start in a hole. In fact, the Warriors won Games 1 and Games 2 each of the last 3 years against the Cavs. So Toronto will instantly be more equipped in that regard. The question to me is, how will the other guys on Toronto respond to now an even bigger moment? How will Kyle Lowry, man, this was the crowning moment of his career, and he was ready for it. Now your season's going longer than you've ever dealt with. There's more wear and tear on your body than you've ever dealt with in a season, and there is more scrutiny on every single play.
He's got a better assignment, though, because Bledsoe he was on the all-defensive team.
Oh, as opposed to who he's going up against now and going up against Steph. 100%. Danny Green, though. How's Danny Green? Danny Green's going to have to play. Danny Green, 0 for 7 in the last 2 games, all on open corner threes. 0 for 7 on the greatest shot in basketball, just clank, clank. If he can only play 14 minutes a game like he did in the last 2 games, then the Raptors are in real trouble. So I feel like we can expect a certain level of play from Kawhi. How will the other Raptors respond to a moment that, except for Danny Green, if I'm going through the roster in my head, none of them have ever been in?
Yeah, so what I'm going to be looking for is your comment about the transition defense of the Raptors. Their transition defense is outstanding. Now, can they play transition defense, which will take Draymond Green a lot of his offense away? I do believe they'll do that. But can they take away the lane and also get out to the three-pointer? Because Milwaukee didn't necessarily attack the three-point lane that way. the way Golden State was. They run out and they run straight for the three-pointer. So I believe the transition defense is the #1 point, and I believe probably the most important player outside of Steph and Kawhi would be Serge Ibaka and his ability. How much center can he play? 2 meetings they had this year, there's a number of players didn't play in those meetings. Both of those wins by the Raptors. Serge Ibaka played at the 5. All right, so he's played a lot against Golden State. He's got great experience coming from OKC. So how are they able to utilize him? We saw him catch a second win in this series where he was very good, very aggressive. He's going to have to be able to shoot the ball. He's going to play a huge role in this. I do believe that the Raptors do have a chance. The #1 question for the Raptors is, how long can they hold on to home court? If they can hold it for 2 games, then, man, we're going to have.
Meaning if they go up 2-0.
Yes.
If they go up 2-0.
Because the Warriors haven't been down in the finals, have never not had home court advantage. You can't lose home court to the Warriors in game #1. I wouldn't be as concerned about game #2 because I believe that the Raptors can go to Oracle and win there the way other teams have been able to do.
And I also think, to your point about the different complementary players, are we going to see the Fred VanVleet that we saw in the early part of the postseason? The latter part, Pascal Siakam, is going to be an important key. I do believe that Toronto is a unique team in how they can go big. They can go small. They have a variety of ways to play. But this is going to be fun. These teams haven't met since December. And you mentioned it, Kawhi, Steph, and Draymond each missed one of those 2 games. This is a very new-looking Toronto team that Golden State hasn't
They've never played each other full strength.
They've never played each other full strength. And so some of the matchups, some of the nuances, in the postseason isn't always the same as the regular season, but we played this combination, this work. When we ran this play, this helped. So there's going to be a lot more
chess matches.
Ability, yes,
Toronto
to have
did
the chess
take
matches,
the
make
season series, and even though the players weren't all playing, there could be some psychological edge knowing that they have.
At first game, Durant scored 51, but Steph didn't play, so the Warriors lost.
Of course they did.
That's kind of how that works.
The records again. Thanks for joining us, Sarah, today. As always,
thank
have
you.
a great rest of the holiday. Coming up are the Lakers zeroing in on Jimmy Butler. Next on First Things First.
Zeroing in.
Stars leave. There's a reason in college football. Most teams do not have programs in the South. That's why it's harder to accumulate great talent in cold weather cities. That's the reality, regardless of.